What's up everybody, welcome back to another video by TrunkFreshCream34, and today we have a bit of an interesting video. We're actually going back in time a little bit and doing a 2022 review. Now normally, I don't really review stuff from an older year once that year has passed. Like 2022, I reviewed 2022 cars, and 2021, I only reviewed 2021 cars. Very rarely do I go back and review stuff from the previous year. But Revney Grilliante is probably my favorite new release from 2022. And since I finally got him, I kind of thought it'd be fun to actually do a video on him, just because he is really cool. And one of the actual few new releases that came out in 2022, because 2022 was a rough year for cars collecting. The actual new stuff that we got was really good. We had Revney, we had Colin Borev, Keith Cone, the Thailand Damage the King variant, and then the on-the-road cars at the end of the year. But the problem is all that good stuff was so few and far between that it was just kind of a pain to like try and get the cars, because it was like Case A came out, and that was pretty much all stores got, at least here in Canada, forever. The stores only really started to recover from it earlier this year in 2023. And so you had like 5 cases in a row with just no new cars. Like, it was brutal. There were so many things that just made collecting in 2022 frustrating. But like I said, the new stuff that we actually did get was very good. Some of the best new stuff we've gotten in a while. So I thought it'd be fun to spotlight Revney Grilliante here in this video. Because also, not only was he a new car, he was a new background car, and he was a new background car from Cars 2 in the Radiator Springs scenes. We pretty much have no new cars from the Radiator Springs scene in Cars 2. The only cars we have from that are Tom Talk and Otis, and then last year we got this and Colin Borev. So it's kind of crazy that they were actually building out those scenes a little bit, so that was pretty awesome. Honestly, that was a big Mattel W, in my opinion. So yeah, let's get on right into the review. So like I said, this came out in 2022, I believe singles case. I want to say case J alongside Bertha Butterswagen and Dana Crankoff. It was a pretty infamous case because Revney was available in the 12 count version, which was at Walmart in the United States, so it was pretty easy for a lot of people to get Revney. But the full version that had Bertha Butterswagen and Dana Crankoff, 2 other really awesome new releases, they were pretty much just impossible to get. Because they were only released in like Greece, I think. Like it was some really obscure place in relation to the rest of the world. So it was very weird. It was a very weird time. But Revney was easy to get, and I was able to get this one from a friend. Mr. Dockett was able to sell me an extra one he had, so thank you for that. And yeah, I think that's the lore update on Revney, in case you were unaware. Love the artwork. Definitely, definitely one of my favorite artworks in recent times. Very, very fun. Of course, on the Red Riders Stadium background, even though he should be on the desert background. Very peculiar. Of course, as seen in Cars 2, glad they got that right. We have some other 2022 releases: Francesco, Chisaki, Otis, Artist Ramon, Lewis Hamilton, Sarge, and Sheriff. So yeah, that is it for the packaging. Let's get Revney all opened up. Yeah, I'm so excited to have this opened up. This is like I said, one of my favorite new releases from last year, and so I was really trying to track one down, because there's a lot of cool things about it, which I will go over in just a moment here. Alright, there is Revney all out of the package, and right away, one of the best things about it is the expression. It's a very dynamic expression. He's looking off to his right, which is very, very nice. And even the mouth is like an interesting little design. It's almost like a state of confusion type thing. I'm not really sure how to describe it. One thing I am noticing that is super weird, though, is this black line What is that? Is that like... What? I don't know what that is. This little line here. That is super weird. Is he supposed to look like that? Like, it's not super distracting or anything like that. When you look at it that way, anyway. If you look at it like this, it's fine. That is so weird. What is that? It's got to be like, you know what I think it is? I feel like it's part of the eye plate, but the eye plate isn't put in properly. So maybe it's like shifted over too much? I'm not sure. Or maybe all the Revneys look like that. I honestly have no idea. I'm going to have to look it up. It is very, very odd and pretty bad, in my opinion. Definitely a negative on this otherwise pretty awesome release. So I'm very curious to see if it's just mine that's like that. But anyways, like I said, awesome expression. Pretty generic grill, to be honest. Can't really... Well, you can kind of feel the lines inside. I like testing that out on all cars with grills. There's his lights there. Pretty standard. Now up top you can see this little text up here that says Vern's. So Vern's taxi service was actually in Cars 1. Obviously there was the character of Vern. And in Cars 2 there was this character who works for Vern's taxi. So now it's implied that Vern originally was just one person, a one-car taxi business, and is now expanded to other taxi cabs such as Revney here, which is super awesome. So I like that it says Vern's up top there. His little hat, I guess you could call it. I still wonder how taxis even work in the Cars universe. I honestly have no idea. I think the common theory is that it's like GPS, so like, it's like having like an actual like live GPS, so like, you would just follow the taxi to your destination. Which I guess makes sense, because obviously you can't fit a car inside of Revney here, that's just not happening. So on the side we have this super awesome little graphic here, Vern's taxi, and then a little number you can call, 938-8885. And it's on this like dark blue circle with a V in behind the text to symbolize a Vern. Pretty nice silver rims. Like those a lot. And also he is this like pure white color, which is super cool because not a lot of cars are white. Like this pure white color, so it's very cool. I like windows there, door handles, it's a pretty generic model that they've kind of managed to make interesting with the expression and the Vern decals. On the back here you have his taillights and a license plate that reads, it looks like SO3HJ. Very cool. Not sure what the significance behind that is. You can see his trunk there outlined. Very cool. And there's the Vern's taxi emblem there as well. Now, something I'm noticing, and the only reason I notice this is because I just recorded my video on Ito-san from this year, is he's kind of a similar model. I don't think it's the exact same. I'm trying to look at size here. Revney is actually about the same size as Ito-san. So it looks like maybe when they re-released Ito-san in 2023 here, they actually like altered this Revney model a little bit. Like, it's not the exact same mold, but it is very, very similar. Yeah, the only reason I even thought to compare this was because I just recorded my video on Ito-san, and I have the car sitting next to me still. But yeah, otherwise, this is an awesome release with the exception of that weird black line. I don't know what that is. That's going to drive me crazy now. That's definitely a negative. But the rest of him is honestly fantastic. Like I said, easily one of the best releases from 2022, although that was a pretty low bar. Because like I said, the only other new cars were Keith Cone, Colin Borev, Jay with VR headset. That was a new one as well. Forgot about him. Bertha Butterswagen and Dana Crankoff. And then, of course, there were the on-the-road cars at the end of the year, which definitely helped save the main line. And I think that's why a lot of people have now said that, oh, 2022 wasn't that bad. And it's like, yes, it was. it was pretty mediocre. Now, granted, credit where credit is due. The re-releases were actually pretty good. They re-released a lot of cars that had not been out in several years. But the fact that they had like 5 straight cases in a row with no new cars was super lame. It was very disappointing. But like I said, the new stuff that we did get was fantastic. Revney is no exception. Love the expression. Love the fact that he is a Cars 2 background character from the Radiator Springs scenes. Like, that's such a interesting area of the Cars franchise to pull from. One that they haven't really done that often, but they did with Revney, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, all in all, great release. Super glad I decided to do a video on him. So that's about it for this review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys were okay with me kind of going back and reviewing a bit of an older car, but I think it was worth it. I think Revney deserves the spotlight. He's a great release. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on Revney Grilliante in the comments. And yeah, I will see you all for another video. Thanks for watching.